Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo. Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Biajulu. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing amazing. You look beautiful today.
Thank you.
Do you have a party after?
You think I do? I don't have anything. It's work, actually.
Yeah.
So how are you doing?
So it's the weekend. I'm still looking forward to my accountability classes.
Nice.
I started them on the meditation course first, and I've been getting reviews on their experiences. So I say a lot of people have not meditated before. They find it very difficult to be still, to still their body, then their mind. So the discouragements they say is, my mind will be going to several places at the same time. So I give them a tip on how they can handle that. And I say, just stay. Keep practicing. So day before yesterday and yesterday, I was reading their review. So I said, every time you meditate, make sure you document so that you can track your progress. And I was liking what I was seeing. So some people are beginning to get a hang of it. I'm really excited. Then after the show, I'm having lunch with a friend. I've told myself this season, I'm going to be friendshiping, bonding, loving everybody, vibrating love. I am love, and I want to be loved. After going out now, then I'll do my lunch.
Nice. How are you doing, Nima?
I'm fine. I'm grateful to God. And for me, this morning I had a deep reflection on some circumstances that were in the past and how people are moving on. How you could have messed up big time in the past. You're tracing your step. You're more mature now, so you look back in reflection and think, no, I really messed up. How do you then move on? How do you face, maybe people you offended in that past? And I am not one when somebody is down to... My sisters always say that, that person was really nasty to you in the past. This is where your time has come, but I don't know how to take that time. When my time comes, I'm just grateful that, I'm not the one on the other side. And so this morning, I'm just grateful to God again, deeply reflective.
How are you doing,
I'm fine, thank you. I went off to... Yesterday, I told you guys I was going to a book reading, so I went to Pinefield Schools in Lekki. See, I finally saw a school that reminds me of Jos. I said, everywhere is green. The buildings are on the ground floor. There's large fields everywhere. The children have lots of space and fresh air to dance.
Lekki, does Lekki have space?
I was so shocked. I thought, beautiful school, well-behaved children. But I was really happy about the environment. I mean, any child would be so happy and blessed and lucky to, to be in that environment. They will try. It just reminded me of my own school in Jos and many schools like that. Lagos children are not sent.
They're always choked. I'm surprised. This expanse of land. It's only public schools that have that land.
That space,
Public schools have a lot of land. But private schools, I doubt if they have
like that exists. When I put my kid in that school, it was a bungalow. Okay. Open field, space, spaced classrooms, not up to 9 in a class, and loved it. Then everybody discovered the treasure in the neighborhood, and everybody started coming. That's maybe because I was talking about it too much.
So the place is choked down. They are building on it,
now
right?
we have A1, A2. 1A1, nursery A2.
Then we do business now. Why are you like this? How are you doing?
Anyways, I'm doing very well. Thank God for everything. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Let's start with the nation. Survivors recount moment train slammed into bus. Wike, we will chase away Atiku others to build PDP. INEC rejects court ruling on temporary voter cards use. Federal government cautions doctors against joining strikes. APC National Working Committee member dies. APC uncovers plot by fake Nadeco chief to discredit poll. 25 killed in Badagry, Enugu, Ogbomoso, and road crashes. APC, LP, NNPP differ on shift of governorship polls. Okay, which story are you starting with?
Let me just start with the train experience. And victims, survivors are now talking. One of the survivors, Kazim Biola, said that he was sitting by the door when this collision happened, and that they were just midway through the rail at Shogunle when the train crashed into them. But he remembered that as they were approaching the crossing, that, you know, they were talking to everybody in the bus was trying to caution the driver to wait. Other cars were waiting, but this driver just would not listen, and he tried to go across the rail. Now, in the accounts, one of them also said that, you know, they think, I'm waiting for the Nigerian Railway Commission to confirm that magnets from the rail held the bus. And so they couldn't complete the crossing, but he wanted to dash across the crossing and they couldn't stop. He wouldn't stop, and then they got that collision. 2 women died on the spot. The governor has spoken about it. He gave an assessment of what was happening at Lasut. Maybe later on we'll have more details of that, but he said that, you know, they have some mild cases, about 8 mild cases, trying to get the numbers again. And, you know, some extreme cases. 4 more people died at Lasut.
Oh, no.
Some are in terrible conditions. 79 people survived, though, but, you know, it's in a state of mourning right now in Lagos State. And so they have 42 moderate cases, 29 serious cases, and 8 mild injuries. Now, from the account of one of the occupants of the bus, said the bus was coming from Ikotun to Alausa, and he was on his way to work. Fortunately, this guy works with Lasema, and he says that he jumped out of the bus. Several occupants of the bus also jumped out of the bus, so they had mild bruises on their hand. That they just thought once the collision happened and they were closer to the door, jumping out was an option, and they took it, and, you know, they were able to jump out. But, you know, it was a fast, so they would also...
The impact, those who were impacted definitely would have died immediately.
So the 2 women died immediately, sadly. I went to Alausa yesterday because I have some business to run at Lands, and everywhere was quiet. They were in mourning, and, you know, and I thought business as usual would go on, and no. You know, we know the people in the bus. You know, they had names. One of the staff was so lucky. She said she had missed the bus. She was pregnant, and she was running after the bus trying to stop it, but the bus would not stop for her. So she was just grateful yesterday. Everywhere was just calm. It was a very dark.
Really sad.
Thursday yesterday.
Is there any information on the driver? Do you know if it's
Yes. So the Commissioner for Transportation spoke and said the driver is presently under detention and in treatment, and he would answer for his actions as well.
In road accidents in Oyo, Enugu, and Lagos State. 10 commuters involved in the Oyo-Ogbomoso road accident and 5 in the Badagry, Lagos incident were burnt beyond recognition. He said the Oyo crash was a collision between the Mazda and Toyota Hiace buses. The FRSC confirmed this in the news, and they said the accident happened about 5:30 a.m. around kilometer 12 on Oyo-Ogbomoso Road. Said the buses were basically from, you know, Lagos and Nasarawa states. Then immediately the crash happened, the vehicle went up in flames, and, you know, they are trying to attribute the accident to overspeeding and overloading. The Enugu incident, on the other hand, happened on Onitsha-Enugu expressway, and it was a collision between a bus and a truck. 10 persons died also from that crash, and they said it was an 18-seater bus. It ran into a trailer that was carrying cement, you know, and, you know, they've been talking about this. A lot of things in mind. Reckless driving, the roads not being so good, people trying to overtake, like this particular, the last one that just happened in Enugu, it was an overtaking. So the truck was smoking and the driver did not see it, and it was just a crash. We need to be very, very careful on the roads.
Yes, I do. I'll take us back to politics and our elections. So, as we know, INEC has postponed the elections that were supposed to hold tomorrow to March 18th. And then we have, and this report is about the response of at least 4 of the major political parties to this information. It says that APC is fine with it. They said APC respects the INEC decision to shift the poll, but we have LP and Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, who are not happy about it, as well as PDP. APC says that, okay, they will respect the decision, to postpone it, but that and this is because, you know, they have to get the information for beavers in time for the governorship election. So this is, you know, there's a court process going on, and this has to be sort of downloaded and put aside and backed up until the election. So APC is saying that as long as you can preserve the integrity of the data, we're fine with you shifting the elections. The other parties were not so gracious. LP says, as far as they're concerned, this shows lack of preparedness. Some of the parties says, after all the monies that you have, you expect that INEC would have a backup and things like that. But
all right, so the federal government was saying yesterday, while they were inducting 477 foreign-trained doctors in Nigeria, the federal government was saying that they cannot join strikes because they are under a different program. According to them, they said they have a freedom of association, joining the policy of the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. They are not regarded as members, however, of the Association of Resident Doctors. So when these guys go on strike, they don't expect them to join them. However, you are free to associate yourself with anybody. So you've traveled abroad, you're back now, and they've been training, they're now been engaged. I didn't realize that we're bringing forward. That's a good thing.
That's good.
You know, said that by council policy, you're not members of the ARD. However, by Nigerian Constitution, there's freedom of association. You can join, but if they call for strike, don't join them because your program is structured and uninterrupted in each of the postings. So
maybe they should have their own
different association.
Association, yes.
Moving on to the Punch very quickly. Lagos train bus crash. NRC Lasema blame driver as FG orders probe. Roadblock victims tackle lawless soldiers over extortion and harassment. Visa revocation. Court bars CEO on running Seplat. NCAA probes Lufthansa over alleged passengers' maltreatment. INEC faults judgment permitting temporary voter cards for polls. Okay, which story are we going with?
The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has begun investigation into what is alleged maltreatment of Nigeria-bound passengers by Lufthansa Airlines. The general manager of NCAA says that, you know, they got information that there had been maltreatment of about 200 Nigerian-bound passengers on this German carrier airline. It happens that this flight was supposed to be Frankfurt to Lagos and was supposed to have arrived at 5:45 p.m. It says the flight got there and then hovered for about an hour in our airspace and then diverted to Cotonou to drop off some people, and that's in Benin Republic, and then Malabo in Equatorial Guinea to drop off about 15 people, much less than the numbers that were going to disembark here in Lagos. And then they brought them back to Lagos at 2 a.m. So the passengers were like, well, then you better figure out our accommodations. You cannot drop us here at 2 a.m. And the airline were like, if you don't clear, and we'll get police here to arrest you. So they have reported, and NCAA says it's investigating, but stakeholders are also talking. They said it even sends a very dangerous message to hijackers to say, oh, okay, so there's a possibility that it can just come into our airspace and then move out of that. And so his stakeholders are saying that NCAA should make sure they investigate this properly and, you know, it's sorted out.
Okay, let me just take another story of such maltreatment from foreign people. So the Federal High Court in Lagos has barred or restrained Mr. Roger Brown, the CEO of Seplat Energy, from parading himself and as the firm CEO, pending the determination of that suit filed by some members of staff alleging, you know, unfair treatment, preference for foreign workers, prejudicial and oppressive manner treatment, and all of that, which are the details of the petition against him. They also restrained the chairman of the firm's board of directors, Mr. Basilomi, and all other non-executive directors under them from continuing to run the affairs of Seplat in that illegal, unfair, prejudicial, oppressive manner, pending the hearing and determination of the petition against them. So the applicants who brought the suit are Moses Ibrude, Sarat Kudaisi, Kenneth Nabike, and Ajani Abidoye and Robert Ibekwe. They are members of staff who felt treated badly, and they went to court. They did the right thing. And also, we are a sovereign nation. We are above any individual as a nation, and you must conduct business here according to the law. Lufthansa, for instance, shouldn't have treated Nigerians in that manner. And we must always uphold that
Yes.
as a nation.
Yeah, so I took a report
Well,
yesterday.
let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. We see how the story.
So I took a report by Punch yesterday on the activities of soldiers mounting a block at Urimerumu end of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to extort money in the process, then also exposing them to residents and hoodlums who would come in with machetes and try to rob the passengers and drivers who are stuck at the gridlock. So the Punchman, Olaliko, who was also attempted to, they actually smashed his vehicle while they attempted to rob him, was the one also talking about the story, and they were able to get more witnesses to say that this has been happening for years in that area. Said the roadblock has been on for over 5 years, and every evening from 9:30 p.m. you see a lot of soldiers setting up the roadblocks. They've tried to report to the soldiers and the authority, and they say they don't do anything about it. And they cannot say that their heads are not aware, because you see them like in batches, in groups, different groups. This group will leave, the next group will come, and all that. However, they contacted the spokesperson, 81 Division Nigerian Army, Lieutenant Colonel Wasiu Ayinde, and he said he promised that he was going to get to the roots of the matter. He would get his, requesting for information now, he'll get it, and then he'll see what he'll do about that area, because residents are really complaining.
Okay, moving on now to Vanguard. APC Labour Party, IPAC, others disagree concerning the shifting of the governorship polls. Old notes, cash crunch worsens as Nigerians wait on Buhari. Plans afoot to cause chaos after global polls, DSS warns Nigerians. Lagos spare parts market fire, traders lament seek government assistance. June 12, 1993, saga won't repeat itself, says presidency. Train BRT bus, we begged the driver not to wait, but he refused. And governorship poll, court orders INEC to allow temporary voters card use. Okay. Which story are we starting with?
I have an interesting one here. It's a magistrate court sitting in Akure, Ondo State, has ordered the remand of a man, Oni Samuel, in prison custody in the state for allegedly defrauding a sex worker. Blessing or light. So the said Samuel was arrested by men of the police because he defrauded Blessing of 120,000 naira. And then while Blessing was talking to the court, he told them that she's a professional sex worker, and the defendant allegedly collected 80,000 naira cash after sleeping with her on that particular night. And she explained that the cash was to be transferred to her with an additional 15,000 for service charge. But then this guy refused to transfer the money, and they have dragged him to court. And while the case was heard in court, he was requesting for bail. Initially, they said they were not going to grant him bail, that he's at a flight risk. But finally, they had given him bail and a surety with, is it worth 200,000 naira surety for his bail. And the matter has been adjourned to April 17, 2023. So now you can actually take anybody to court, even if you're a sex worker, if they promise to pay you and they don't pay you back.
All right, so the Department of State Services, DSS, has warned that their plans to cause a breakdown of law and order immediately after the gubernatorial elections and state assembly elections. The spokesperson was saying, Peter Ufanayam was saying yesterday, unnecessary, palpable political tension in parts of the country is expected. It's observed that some players are daggers drawn with one another. Development holds their consequences for our stability. It is in view of this that the DSS and other sister agencies are engaging and asking politicians to engage themselves constructively. Everyone is advised to shun fake news, hate speech, and other utterances that may be inimical to peaceful coexistence within our country. And this is a cause for concern, especially politicians. You need to tell all your followers. We don't want to burn down this country, and this rhetoric must not fester anymore. We have to stop it and nip it in the bud immediately. And I think the leaders of each of the parties, each of the followers, they're the ones that have the following, should speak up and speak to their supporters.
So these cash issues that we are having, Vanguard went to town. We found out that banks are paying out old notes, but then insisting that the people who need to deposit old notes must generate the CBN code that was required before the Supreme Court judgment. So causing people Nigerians to be afraid to follow that court order. So the CBN, the banks are insisting, must remove that requirement of the CRP registration for old notes before banks can then say, just, transact, deposit them and withdraw them. But banks have put these old notes in their ATMs. They are paying Nigerians the money and creating the fear because they're waiting on their regulatory body to speak. At this point now, let's use this money to beg President Muhammadu Buhari. I'm sure he has returned. To call his appointee, the CBN governor, to do something so that Nigerians can continue to live life as normal.
With dignity.
With dignity. It's getting out of hand. You're confusing the banks of what's on one hand.
It's the president. Let him talk. We don't want to hear from him.
He's even Emefiele. They say that Emefiele say make them they use CRP to deposit old notes. So banks will pay you money and they won't collect it back.
That was before.
Will you collect that money?
That was before the Supreme Court judgment.
And we still have this hard conditions of cash crunch everywhere.
So that was before the Supreme Court judgment. Now that we have the Supreme Court judgment, it's important that either Emefiele, if he's not going to speak, let the president who came out to come and talk to us, Abi, let him also tell us, follow the court order, period. And that's because
Emefiele needs to instruct the banks.
Yes.
Because he's their regulator.
Yes, what she's saying is that Emefiele has a boss. If Emefiele is unable to talk, his boss, the president, can
move
speak.
him and put somebody that can talk.
Abi, don't listen to the boss.
No,
Please, we have a situation, and this situation is bad. I don't even want to complete the story, the report as it is. The one that I have just taken is a summary of what is happening now. President Muhammad Buhari, you need to direct. Today is Friday. Direct before Monday what banks should do going forward before they start burning everywhere again. I've been waiting. We see no bad.
Bad though.
Nigerian Tribune. 6 died, 70 injured in train Lagos government staff bus collision. Court orders INEC to allow 2 voters to use a temporary voter card March 18 poll. 10 died in the Oyo-Ogbomosho road accident. Nadeco has no branch in the USA, says Okwadokun. 1 killed, 15 injured as APC PDP supporters clash in Bauchi. Okay. Story
so the INEC story. The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has ordered INEC to allow just 2 voters who filed this action before the Federal High Court to allow, use their temporary voters card as against the permanent voters card, which is missing for both of them. So they had actually brought the action to allow everybody vote using their temporary voters card. But the court said that the reason they are giving the order to allow these 2 is because they were duly registered and captured under INEC's database. So INEC has their detail, and if they can show that they believe that, you can allow INEC, since we're all techie now, use the beavers to find their details and allow them vote. So that's what the court said. So it's not a blanket judgment. The court did not say, they did not file it in representative capacity of everybody who doesn't have the PVC but have their TVC. So only 2 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, no other stories?
I have a story. A former Inspector General of Police, Michael Kiro, yesterday was charging the IGP, that's Alkali Baba, and the service chiefs to take responsibility for any violence that may occur in polling units across the country during the next gubernatorial and state House of Assembly elections in March 18. So they're supposed to avoid what happened in the last election, and he's telling them that the police must be responsible. They are not there to just stand and watch while electoral violence is going on. They have to do something about it, and they will be held responsible. But I would have also suggested that they sort of aid them. I'm not saying they should carry ammunitions or guns, but they should have things like, no, not dogs, have things like tear gas or something, because most of them were, from what I could deduct, were seemed overwhelmed. They didn't have anything with them, so they didn't have the ability to stop the people who were dragging ballot boxes. But if they have things like a tear gas, nothing too dangerous, that could also help the work.
You know, basic
know.
things. You know, orderliness is really basic.
It's not about
You
orderliness.
know, sometimes if you enter a place that is structured, there's really no plan for polling units. Everybody just comes and sorts themselves out, how
Yeah.
you line up, there are no barricades,
Yes.
there's no where you stand. You know,
Yes.
when there's structure, people somewhat fall in line. But when you just come in and just stand anywhere, just pick a number, you know, those are the kind of things that causes violence and disruption sometimes.
In this case, it
Online
wasn't
voting.
what caused violence because we didn't have any of the structures. We organized ourselves as Nigerians. We're on the queue waiting for INEC when they came.
You in Lekki,
No, I'm
some
just,
people in
They're
some
no,
other
I'm just
places
saying,
will not.
but
On what Morayo
while
is
we
trying to
were
explain
on the
is-
queue,
Yeah.
hoodlums came. Even with barricades and all of that, when hoodlums want to come, they will come. So the point is, what will the police do when they are standing by? They should have a form of help.
Oh yeah, I get that.
Just make their job
I'm not
easy.
disputing that. I think it's a good point. I think that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our topic of the day. It's Friday. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So many of us have experienced or heard about the accident that happened in Lagos a few days ago, that claimed the lives of innocent Nigerians, where a bus drove across the train tracks and then the moving train rammed into it. This is a really sad story, and everybody has been mourning, especially those in Lagos State. However, it's political season, and many are politicizing the situation where various narratives are going on social media. That's why it was important for us to call somebody from the medical service who can explain to us what is going on and how the rescue mission has been done. Because so far, lots of narratives are on social media, and it's important for us to set the record straight so Nigerians understand the procedure of rescue. Joining us on the show this morning is the Chief Medical Director of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, Professor Tokunbo Fabanwu. He'll be giving us an update on the state of yesterday's accident, the emergency response, and how the hospital is responding to these emergencies. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning. How are you?
Very, very good. So one of the first things we need clarity on, because it was quite trending on social media yesterday that all the survivors that were taken to the hospital were laid on the floor, that it shows that we didn't have enough bedrooms in Lasut. And we've heard the Commissioner for Health come in to tell us that Lasut is well equipped. So we're shocked to see people on the floor trying to, where it seems like the medical service were trying to attend to them on the floor. Could you give us clarity on exactly what happened yesterday?
Okay, thank you very much. You see, all these thoughts, all these concerns, all this criticism is really born out of ignorance and lack of knowledge of medical protocols and medical procedures. It is international best practice to triage in an open space. To start with, which medical emergency unit will have 85 empty beds waiting for 85 victims of a disaster? Nobody has that kind of fallow line there. Secondly, the reason why you must triage in an open space is to be able to clearly see all the injuries, be able to clearly assess all the injuries, for the health workers to be able to move freely. Because when you triage, what you are doing is to determine the different severities of injuries. And so you need to decide who goes in first, who can still be attended to later. You need to set up drips, you need to set up blood. And what we did yesterday was quite impressive and excellent. As a matter of fact, our response has received huge commendation from all over. Because we were able to receive 85 victims, eventually 102. And we were able to place mattresses on the floor. We were able to provide canopies for them. Health workers were mobilized within a short time. You can imagine about 100 health workers. moving around within a space, attending to 102 patients. There is no emergency unit room that can accommodate that kind of number. So normally triaging is not done in enclosed spaces, except you are dealing with a small number of victims. Of course, if you had only 5 patients, we would have 5 beds to put them on and triage them. But 102, for crying out loud, there was no other way to do it than the way we did it, and that's the way everybody else does it.
All right. Okay, so there was this speculation that most of the patients were abandoned. Can you help us clarify that?
Abandoned by their relatives?
No. They were struggling to get enough hands to handle everybody at the same time.
There was no struggle to get any hands. Okay. Now, let me explain to you what we do in LASU. Okay. On a monthly basis, we run an emergency preparedness drill. It's a simulation exercise, which we run without pay on a monthly basis. Okay. So we were not caught pants down yesterday. We were well prepared. And all the doctors on ground, all the nurses, all the medical scientists, all the pharmacists, everybody was mobilized within a short time. By the time I came in around 8 o'clock, 8:30, I was amazed at the number of people on ground attending to patients. A lot of drips had been set up. A lot of blood transfusion was going. A lot of patients had POP applied to their fractures. It was fantastic. So the question is just a speculation and a mischievous statement, really, yeah.
So online yesterday, there were pictures of blood donors, and they claimed that they were donating blood at the hospital yesterday for victims of that crash. How true is that, and what's the state of health of most of the survivors?
Okay, so first and foremost, let me say that the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Service showed up very well for us yesterday. To start with, we had some blood in our blood bank, enough, but the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Service, under the leadership of Boduri Oshikumaya, was able to come up with quite a number of blood products and blood itself to use for these patients. And then, but because we had used them, we needed to replenish them. So that was why we were calling for donors to come and replenish our blood banks. So as we speak, all the patients that needed blood have been transfused. We have operated on about 7 of them successfully. About 4 of them are doing well in the intensive care unit. We moved about 20 of them to other hospitals, General Hospital Agege, General Hospital Bagada, General Hospital Lagos, and the emergency center at the toll gate, and they are doing very well. Okay, so I think the blood response was excellent.
Okay. Sir, yesterday we spoke with the Lasema boss, and he talked about a huge crowd, that was making the operations quite difficult. And we know that some of these family members and relatives concerned Nigerians, Lagosians, may have found themselves at the hospital as well. And we're wondering how you're able to handle this, or you did not experience this challenge at the hospital.
We experienced it, and it was quite overwhelming. We tried to control it, but there was a limit to what we could do. You see, you need to emphasize. If people were coming to look for their relations, you couldn't stop them. So what we did was to set up an information desk quickly, where we had a list of all the victims, and we had details of what was happening to them. So we were able to deal with the relations without necessarily having them move into this site where we were triaging. But it was a bit difficult.
All right, so what's the current numbers now? How many are recovering? How many have we lost? And how many are still having treatment at this time? You have the data with you.
Okay, so 102 victims. Okay. So far, sadly, 6 deaths.
6 deaths.
Okay, and so 96 of them are in 5 locations. Lasuf, number 1, Orile-Agege, number 2, Bagada, number 3, General Hospital Lagos, number 4, and the Emergency Trauma Center on the toll gate, number 5.
Okay.
So they are distributed like that. We moved the less severe cases to all those other places. So the more severe cases, those that need intensive care units, those that have head injuries, those that have chest injuries, those that are bleeding internally, okay, and then those that have complicated fractures.
Right.
Those are the ones that we're keeping in Lasuf. Because here we have the experts in all these specialties to deal with them. So like I said, we've carried out 7 surgeries. There are still about 5 who are undergoing investigations and they're going to have surgery. All these services, by the way, are being provided free of charge. None of the relators is paying 1 kobo for all these things we've done. And I must say that the Lagos State government has risen up to the occasion. They've given us some seat amount to carry on with. This was provided yesterday by the head of service, Mr. King Morayo. So we are doing good.
But Professor, I have to ask, because as I said, this is political season. Everything is being politicized in different ways. So have politicians started coming to your hospital to see the guests? I mean, how are you handling influx of all sorts of politicians just coming around to have the photo ops?
Okay, so yesterday we knew that, of course, the gubernatorial candidates of the other parties would come, and they came. And they were well received. They were able to see for themselves, and they commended us for excellent services. Okay, we expect that a few more will come. But of course, because of confidentiality and privacy, not everybody is going to be allowed to see patients. So we can explain to them what is going on, but they do not necessarily have to go into our wards to see patients.
Right.
Okay, don't forget that we're still in the era of infectious diseases.
True. Right.
So we cannot even afford to expose our patients to all manners of people just coming in to say hello.
Right, right. Thank you very much, Professor Fabang. I think we have to let you go.
Thank you.
It was important for us to get some clarity on this because these are lives we're talking about. People have died. It's an accident. It's not time for politics. It's time to get to work and make sure people are well taken care of. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us this morning. That's what we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll continue with our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So mixed to that, as it's Friday, is our gisting day, a part of our gisting day. So we have to move into what's happening in the celebrity kingdom and world. So mixed reactions have continued to trail a trending video of Fuji legend King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal, popularly known as Kwam1, rejecting public display of affection from his gorgeous, beautiful wife, Emanuella Ropo, who had thrown her husband a surprise party in celebration of his 66th birthday. In the video, Emmanuella was seen trying to kiss Kwam1, who was rejecting the kiss. The trending video has since caused a stir online. People saying all sort of cho. However, Kwam1 has come out to say, all you rumor mongers, there's nothing wrong with my marriage. My marriage is perfectly okay where it is. What's your problem? What are your thoughts on this? It's a nice feel-good Friday conversation, especially because we're in Africa. And if there's anything women want, it's PDA. We like it sometimes. And men African men somewhat don't like it. A lot of, not, I wouldn't generalize. Some African men appalls the idea of public display of affection. So is there an opportunity to discuss this matter and see what you think as Nigerians. Call us on the numbers on your screen, 081-270-53687, 09139076948. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourView at TVC so we can read your tweets. So, you know, all of us read these lovely romance books and novels growing up. When the man comes, I had that dream, you know, when you wake up in the morning and somebody kisses you, even without brushing his teeth, come outside, the kiss, hold your hand, the whole nice stuff. After a while, maybe when you're dating, they do that. Once you enter the marriage, nothing happens. So we just back that this is an African man that we're married to. We back that, listen. But what are your thoughts on this? I mean, first of all, let's hear your thoughts on the video.
Okay.
And then let's discuss general PDA amongst husbands and wives. What are your thoughts on the video?
Okay, me, honest to God, I didn't think it was a big deal. It's just normal. Sometimes you're down for it, sometimes you're not. I see a happy couple that are very comfortable with each other. And they have their own, we all have our own peeves and, things that we like, that we do. There are times that, I mean, it's just such, if you've been married, if you're married, you've been married before, you just know that these things can even be funny. This is something like, I must kiss you today. If you like to turn your mouth, bring your face, like, oh, okay, take, and move on. It's just easy.
One of those are saying that they're having problems in their marriage because for him to reject, it means that, maybe they just fought.
People live in la la land.
BBC, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so I think it's very important to understand your partner. And that's the reason for courtship and question and answer segments where you find out, do you like this, you don't like that? Because for some people, they may take it personal. So I particularly love PDAs. Luckily for me, I have somebody who loves PDA. So let's take, for instance, I married somebody who doesn't, and I bring me, the kind of person I am. I will not bring my mouth when I know you don't like it in public because I hate embarrassment. No matter how tiny the embarrassment is, I don't want it. But let's take, for instance, I now do that, and you give me that response. I will feel very bad. Even though I'm supposed to take responsibility to know that you don't like it, but for the fact that I did it outside, just permit me.
Yes.
When we get inside, tell me, madam, don't try that again.
Yeah.
You know I don't like it.
Because of people.
For the sake of people being there. But it's also okay the way he reacted.
Yeah.
Because that's his, and madam, what are you looking for? Please, That's the level of friendship that they have. But for people to now sit down and read
and judge
21 plus 7 meanings to just display what I would say is just them fooling around. I want to understand that people see from their lenses. People judge a situation, not how it is, but how they are. Yeah. So they can look at something very innocent.
Right.
And because of their state of mind, they would give a meaning that is not the intention.
Exactly.
And that's normal with
That's why it's being misread now.
Yes, everybody. Okay, see, when we talked about it, now see the way she came. Because she didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. But somebody else can sit there and say, that means they are not even in love. Oh.
But must you do things
maybe he does not brush his teeth. Oh.
But should we be constantly worrying about what people think about how we behave? Okay, because I'm outside and let me just pretend, like I like it. So because, at what point do I be myself? Say, Auntie, I don't want this, please, excuse me.
See, please, let me just add small to that. In marriage, it's not about you all the time. There are some things you would have to take for the family. There are some things you have to swallow for the family. So, I don't like this, but now you have done it. Because I'm going to take one for the team, I would accept it. But when I go home, I would warn you. But for you to keep grandstanding, that's what causes a division in marriage, or grandstanding that this is how it must be, this is how I like it. After a while in that marriage, you see that everybody like, okay, do your thing, let me do my thing, since you can't even make a little compromise.
Let me come to Nima. Nima, your thoughts on the video first before we...
This one that people have already gone like this now. I'm not afraid to say what we think.
Yeah.
So I saw embarrassment on Emmanuella's face. And I have deep respect for my ego. I love Kwawan's music. I think that he is, is too much of the Mayego around her. That's what I saw. just as Sibi is a chieftain, he is a chieftain, a chief in Yoruba land. He's been given this title and he's becoming too formal. So, marriage. My husband, me, I'm not one for PDAs, but I do it now. Because I married someone.
Do?
I do.
I've never seen you
Just the other day in the morning, my husband was going to hug me and Alima shows up. And immediately...
Hug, that one is not...
No, you were not in the hug, Sham. But some things, so for me, those kind of things, some young people just love. But I find embarrassment in the public show. So if we're indoors, it's okay. And so when somebody shows up, I just freeze, you know? So for someone who takes her time to show you something, and she had put together a 66th birthday party for you. No, you take the kiss easily. You should have switched on to husband mode immediately.
Not my ego mode.
Wait till my ego mode for that place. And this is the woman that, you know, just a few years down before this, we saw all the loving pictures. And then kiss is now something you're first of all shocked at. Please, let me. Help me. You first of all, no. I'm holding my glass of wine now, and you first of all shock, and then you see clean your mouth with a tissue with an hanky. You should know that. Watch the video finish now. We watch the video. I don't let me. I told you to watch the video. Watch the video. He cleaned it. See, I love one, but you see this one on this one. He embarrassed the woman.
No.
So, no, I'm not saying that marriage is on the rocks. No, I don't even believe that. Absolutely. Things like this happen. But he embarrassed her. You should look at it. I
didn't notice that.
I'm not addressing his fans, and I'm addressing...
So let us set the tone.
As you said,
nobody here on this table believes that marriage is on the rocks. It's not on business. They are still going. Just discussing the PDA factor. Go ahead, Bina.
And let me say, how long is this video? Is it a minute? I don't think so. And you have concluded that the whole of that event was about him trying to kiss her, not kiss her. Did you see the other kiss that happened after this? Did you see the kisses that happened before that?
Speak for yourself.
You
watched the video from the entrance. Calm down. Go My TV, thank you very much.
Let me finish.
We watch it from entrance.
I can't hear anybody.
I know that you were not in their room when you were dressing to come out. I know you were not there when she said, you know what, I think I like you in a black biker's jacket. I'm sure you were not there when she even pecked him on his head and said, you know what, honey, you're looking hot today.
I saw you a kiss.
You did not even know, you were not there when, as she was walking out, he tapped her bum and said, my God, I can't believe you are my queen. All those things, you don't know anything. You've just seen one half-a-minute video. All of a sudden, you're coming up with all sorts of permutations and it makes no sense.
Auntie,
please, there was no embarrassment. There was an embarrassment. There was no embarrassment. There were just a happily married couple who are comfortable with each other and can show they are being comfortable in so many ways.
I understand. Thank you very much. Miriam. Thank you very much. I understand you because a lot of things are behind the scenes we don't see.
Yes.
I spoke on that spot.
That clip.
That woman was trying to see through her kiss. So nobody's husband but her own. No. You embarrassed her.
Okay, so the truth.
So I have put my husband in that position a lot of times. I would understand it. In fact, at one particular time, a few years, the first year of my marriage, I held my husband's mouth like this in public. And I felt, when we had the conversation, I knew what he meant to him. Okay. So, you see, I saw this. I saw what I saw. For me, who I'm a Kwanwan fan, and when his video pops up, it pops up on my notification. If Kwanwan drops a music, I want to listen to it and see if it's something I would love. And so I watched the surprise. When he arrived at the venue, I watched the entire...
I think I saw a kiss. There was
a post after this one. There was even an address at the venue, and so there were several videos popping up on different blogs, completing the entire thing.
You're saying that at that moment, he was on his mind, that it was he was living a husband at that moment.
Too formal.
So when an issue happens, there are usually 4 sides to the story.
Right.
There's the side of the first person involved, the side of the second person involved, the side of what actually happened, and the side of the observer. So everything we're saying here, we are saying as observers. Right. And in observing, you would observe with your lenses. So Miriam is right, there is no embarrassment. Nima is right, there is embarrassment. The person who will tell us if she felt embarrassed or not
is Emmanuella.
Is Emmanuella. The person who questions. You don't know that. The person who will say, but I did not mean to embarrass you, is Kwanwan. We are just speculating everything on the outside. And it's okay that we speculate differently because it gives us a broader perspective. When they look at it today, they're not like, yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah. So when they hear, for instance, if they watch the show now, they're like, oh, okay, so some people took it that it happened this way, other people took it.
Okay,
so next time, maybe I'll just try or not.
As usual,
No, because it's not your
let
business.
us pack Pamon and Emanuella. Let's pack their matter because business wants to pack it. Because now I want to move on to the PDA factor because it's an African thing. And so I get the video, we've discussed the video, which is fine. But now, why is it that a lot of men are uncomfortable with public display? And public display means being in front of your children, in your house, outside. I know my husband did a video that said outrightly that he can never, and that was, I was shocked for me, my husband, while we're dating, oh my goodness, this guy couldn't get enough of me. The guy was everywhere, like constantly, the PDA was crazy, we'll go out, and he doesn't see anybody else except for me. And then once we entered the marriage, PDA just stopped, like stopped, like not even, like stopped. And I'm thinking, what happened, you know? So those things, a lot of women go through that, where doing dating, you guys do a lot of stuff, there was a time when we went to, was it Civil Bird for some event, and he was there, we were still dating then, and he was holding me, and he was doing everything. I felt like, you guys are behaving as if you are leaving here to the bedroom. Are you okay? Are you okay? Please stop yourself. I had to pinch him, but Uncle, calm down. Calm down. We are just hanging out, you know? But that was then. So whenever I remember that moment, I'm thinking, what happened? The 360.
Do you miss it or you're
Do I miss it? Of course I miss it. Hell yeah. But it's not, but as a Nigerian woman, you have adjusted. You can't fight every battle. You can't win every battle. So, but that's what a lot of women go through, where things just change and we just accept it. But in this kind of situation, why is it that a lot of our men don't like PDA? What exactly? Does this take away from their manhood? Take away from them? Does it make them feel like I am not the masculinity? That's what I meant. The masculinity. Does it make you feel weaker? You're seen with PDA outside.
So I have a friend who was giving me her story, where teaching at the time, and she said that while the husband was courting her, they would go to the beach every weekend. She loved it. She would look forward to going to the beach every Saturday. They would hang out. He would, stroke her hair, help her lose her hair, massage her legs and everything. She was like, God has just finally given me this perfect gentleman. So immediately, they enter marriage.
Is it immediately?
She said the guy just stopped. So first weekend, she was expecting, let's go to the beach. Second weekend, so after 2 months, she said, I've missed.
I have to pause because they can't hear you. Mike is on. Let me go on a break. We'll be right back. You have to hear this.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so Ryan,
yes,
I
was sharing a very short story. So I said I remembered a friend of mine giving me her own gist, how when the husband was courting her, every weekend they would go to the beach, they would hold hands, he would massage her, he would help her do stuff, and she was like, God has finally answered, because she was a prayer warrior kind of person. God has finally given me the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh. This man is so romantic. Immediately after the wedding, 1 month, they didn't go to the beach. So she was waiting, maybe thinking the man is just adjusting his dress, 2 months. She now called the guy. Brother, when are we going to the beach? The man said, I don't like water. He said, so wait, he said, I was just doing it. I don't like water. They've been married now for close to 20 years now. She has never gone to the beach with him. When she had to readjust her expectation.
That sounds familiar because when my husband was, when I was young, my husband, if I knew you shouted like that, I'd never marry you. I can't be shouting when we're hot, There was no way. I can never be shouting. I was trying to become your hot. I can't be shouting at you. So it is intentional. Some of these men do these things.
So let me add this. Because of the way society has separated masculinity and femininity, which is, there's also another example of my mother-in-law gisting me at the time that when the husband will be helping her peel yam in the kitchen and a relative is coming and he quickly runs away so that they will not see that you have turned me to a woman rapper.
Right.
Men now feel, if I show this side of myself in public, I may seem like a softie. I may seem like you have me under your arms, you control me, I'm always following you around. And so it's just societal expectations. And then the men now adjust to, okay, when we go inside, we can do everything. Outside, though, I'm the man, I have a straight face, and they think that's what makes them a man. But it's important to understand what your partner wants. I'm a PDA person. I do PDA so much. My children already know I understand. In fact, once we hug, you will see my daughter enter inside. Don't kiss.
Let me take this message from Otumba Karim. Thank you, Mariam. There's time for everything. Public display of affection does not reflect or suggest real love. Love is in the heart, not on the lips. Aside K1 is a size. K1 is a titled personality in Yoruba land. There are things that are not expected of you as a titled man in the full glare of the public. As an Otumba, I cannot do such in public. It is meant for our house. Ara Okonimi, I'm a bushman. So he's saying that as a titled man also, there's certain things you can't do in public. So that could be K1's own reservations. Like, I cannot do that. You understand? Makes sense. Let me come to you on the general thoughts of PDA and all that.
So PDA for me is not a big deal. But of course, as you know, I grew up in the North, and Northerners are quite conservative. They would frown at public display of affection. You must be not have been raised properly for you. How dare you? Like, what exactly, you know? If you're PDA in your own house, if your relatives are around too, can be a problem.
Wow.
My mom comes to my house and I see all the judgmental look she gives me sometimes, like, you know, there's a better way or better time for this. But personally, I like PDA. And sometimes I don't. So for me, this conversation is just too easy. Sometimes my husband likes it. Sometimes he doesn't. It's just normal. Sometimes I eat rice. Sometimes I don't. So that's it. It's just so easy peasy. And I think I also understand for those who say you have a title or there's a certain way or you have a certain office. And because of that certain office, there's a way you should carry yourself in public. I guess when we see royal families in Africa and abroad, they do not show that PDA. Let's look at the big example that we've been seeing a lot lately, which is the comparison between William and Kate and then Harry and Meghan. Those ones will hold, Harry and Meghan will hold hands, will show pictures of them looking quite cute, at least touching hands a bit, standing
William
a bit
never
closer.
does that.
And then many people can relate to that, especially the younger generation. Yes, this is more humane, we see. And then you see the other one and everyone speculates, oh, she's unhappy, oh, he wasn't like
Let me take this call from Emeka for a minute. I'll come back to you. Emeka, are you there from Kano?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Emeka from Kano. I think there are so many sides to this. But looking at that video, I won't be judgmental. Come on, these are people having beautiful times of their life. You know, you can see the love thing there and all of that. Joking, a friend of mine who also watched it was like, why did they can't clean his mouth now? I didn't know what maybe red lipstick clean his mouth. But then that's not to overrule or have some misgivings that maybe they might be having issues in their mind. Remember, it's his birthday, and then he might have been standing for so long, welcoming people and all of that. He might have even done so many kisses before I say, Madam, you all done too much for today. I leave me.
You know?
I read. You know. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That's true. You're going to be kissing all day.
And even if she was, you know, my own is, even if she was embarrassed, because it happens, just a little slight fleeting emotion, even if she was slightly embarrassed, she understands that, oh, it's just, you know, just for the moment. It's not such an embarrassment that I will take it on top of my head and then I will not give you food or the other
if you don't go there, you don't talk the one way you know now. You leave
the one way you know, leave there.
You leave it now.
I would advise her that she should
you will
not such
pay
a
dearly for that. You see that slight embarrassment that you gave to me?
See the way she recovered from it. She just stood up
as a queen.
No, she's even smart. She even hit him on his shoulder.
No.
Silly old man.
They even analyze the video. I don't understand. Kind of
when you look like a mistake.
Come. People are there.
And then she let it slide. But when we reach his side,
and
I closed up.
You will
Let's
take
do
this
it.
call. Additional from Abuja. In fact,
it.
I like this conversation. It's taking us on politics and all this drama. It's a very good. Additional from Abuja, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, all.
Morning.
My contribution is, sometimes men respond to what women like. There are women that they like the example you all of your colleagues give, like somebody taking a woman to the beach, and after marriage, everything stops. Women believe that we have to do some certain things that will impress you women, which is not the real self of those men. But the moment they marry, they will not bring up their real self, which the woman will not be disappointed
That's what I want to do.
of that. But in most cases, you understand, and some women, they like this eye service of a thing. You understand? When you are outside the public, okay, my husband don't like
PDA is actually I
but
said.
to make people understand that this is my own, you want to force me to do
That will
that thing.
mark your territory.
So that is just the way I am.
Thank you, Additional. All right, let's talk about women who want it, don't have it in their marriages. How do they begin to, how can they get it? So there are lots of women that are watching right now. Maybe they would like to have PDA. Can they instigate it? Can they find a way to initiate it with their spouses? Or can we talk to men, since you guys are experts in this area? Is there any way, what do we tell
Nima needs to talk.
what do we
Nima
tell
is working
men?
on it.
What do we tell men whose wives would like them to have it, but have an issue with it? So let's try to advise people on this issue of PDA. Nima, want to start? Or let me see
Nima,
the
no,
coach
Nima
start.
has worked on it recently.
Oh, you worked on
Can
it?
you tell us
Yeah,
the
tell us.
techniques? The
How
techniques
did
that you
you
employed?
get?
Okay, so a bit of history. I come from a very conservative family. I never saw my parents kissing, except we initiated it.
Not sure anybody saw his parents kissing.
So I grew up like that. And when I got married, my husband has a different image. Even though he too was from a conservative family, he wanted a different family where morning they wake you on the head with a kiss, and that's what my parents would do. And when we're at a family house, I don't want to be arguing where other women and other family members are seeing it. And so I had to learn it. And each time I pushed him off, he stayed away. So we got married and he continued to stay away. And I started missing the affection within the house. So I didn't want the public. But I did not tell him to stop within the house. But I was, so open-minded to accept that I must have caused the lack of it within the house, maybe because of my constant pushing away. So I worked hard at it and made him understand that within the house, anything is allowed from head to my toes. So I worked hard at it.
Sister Nima.
Ambience.
Creating the ambience, like how? Like in the movies?
Give us examples,
Okay, well,
baby.
the morning show.
No, teach us now. We are learning.
Oh, okay.
Is it
Most
flowers,
women
rose
know that
petals?
when we are indoors,
Yes.
we are not as covered as this.
Oh,
Yes. And so
nice.
you give the sign, you allow,
Your speech.
and then you go do the touching, you do the affection, you touch all over, you do whatever you need to do. You give all the signs. You start
Very
the action,
interesting.
You lead on.
Bisi, let me come to you because you're the coach. A lot of women are there right now, and they would like to have PDA, and they've accepted that their husband doesn't like it. But is there any way they can change the tide and
Or
try
is it
to?
okay not to like it in public?
Yes. Is it also acceptable not to like it?
PDA is another matter.
Yeah, so the way we have extroverts and introverts,
Exactly.
we have different personalities. That's how this is as well. Some people would want to be themselves when they are just with you, their intimate partner. It's not for every eye. After all, they're not porn stars or anything. While some don't mind. And it's not about eye service, so to speak. It's just how free you are to express yourself anyhow that you feel you want to. So I'm not kissing my husband when he's around me because I want Morayo to see that I can kiss. Or I want to pepper Morayo because I've not seen her kiss outside, so that I will show her that we used to do it in my house. That's not basically... No, but some people have that mindset, of course. Wow. But that's not basically the idea.
Yes.
Because if you follow me, for instance, from university days to now, it has been consistent PDA. Consistent. Anybody, in fact, my old friends, when they come around, they're like, when I never still change, when I never tire, it's been like that, but that's who we are. So if you're in that situation where you want it as a woman, but your partner is not forthcoming, you start with a conversation. Tell him what you want. Sometimes we assume that because he's the man, he should know now. I've been giving sign. But sometimes they are not the Holy Spirit. They cannot read your mind. They cannot read your sign. You have been saying no for how many years? All of a sudden, you're doing like this. How will I know that eye is not paining you? So open your mouth and say exactly what you want. Say it how you want it. I would like you to give me a kiss on the forehead. Then give him the kiss on the forehead. He comes back from work, you take his bag, you hug him, you kiss him, you hold him, say, squeeze me, I've missed you today. Start it. And then you're setting the pace, because we actually teach people how to treat us. So you set the pace, and then over time, he begins to follow. Now, why some people will take it as an embarrassment when I bring my mouth in public and you are not responding to me is, how am I sure there's nobody there?
Okay, so
that's eyeing you, that you don't want the person to know that we used to do something. Because all these men that used to go outside, they used to lie. They lie a lot. They say, the marriage is not working, I want to divorce my wife, blah, blah. Now your wife is here, your wife is holding you. You are doing like this, and doing like this, so that the babe will not know.
You see, but
so there's that, go ahead, but there's also, because we're talking to different kinds of people, right? But there may also be. So one thing I also like to correct is this: men don't like PDA. Like generally, African men don't like. I know many African women that don't like PDA as well. They are married to husbands who would love to show this affection in public, but the woman will be deathly embarrassed if he so much as touches her in public. So it can be both ways. But then if you find yourself like in a marriage with someone who the conversation has come up, you have tried all the different techniques and says, sis, this is just not my thing. I love you. I would do this for you. I can do this, but I just cannot bring myself to do that. I would like for a young woman who is going to a marriage to understand that there are so many more important things than PDA. PDA is fun, it's silly, it's okay, but it's not the most important thing. So sometimes when you're making this decision, yes, some things you can tweak from here and there. And you know one thing with marriage, because it's for a lifetime, we all change. One time on a decade or two to come, you find you're the one even not liking tired of the PDA and he has picked up on the PDA. So remember, this marriage is a journey. Sometimes embarrassing moments can happen like that. It doesn't mean anything. They come and go, you have fun, you move on. In fact, if they would, you can use it to make fun of each other. So just, it's easy peasy.
I like that
not a big deal.
Because, because I use myself as an example earlier, so it's important for me to set the thing right so that people who are going to learn from us can learn from our own experiences. So, as I said, yes, while I was dating, there was a lot of kissing in the early days, but then I had to tell myself, Auntie, you cannot be kissing because we have to stop it. You are a Christian, born again, tongue speaking. I have to stop that. we can't do this thing. We have to stop it. Tell ourselves that we must stop until after marriage. So it was a decision we made. No touching. Let us, because when you first meet somebody, the butterflies are flying and everybody, you can't control yourself. But you have to now say, Father, Lord, give me the strength to stop this nonsense. And then you stop, which is exactly in line. You stop that, and then you decide you wait until after marriage. But now, the problem is that when you now enter that marriage, to get the romance back, to get a lot of women have that issue. How do I restart an engine I stopped? How do I bring it back up?
Start button, bam, Shabina, you offer. Go there and on it. So now you have to do more work.
Right.
Because when the relationship is just starting, the men enjoy the chase. They are the ones coming with the flowers and everything. They want to impress you, blah, 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 blah. You now say, okay, brother, can you just calm down first? You now get into the marriage. The end goal, he has achieved it. You now want to restart what you have told him to stop. You will do more of the work. And be patient with him, because it will take them time to also, because sometimes I think men are men are mostly straight jackets. We're going, and you say stop, and we stop, and then you come back. We are the ones that are very dynamic. We can today, we are in the mood, tomorrow we are in the mood. A man basically is mostly constant. Mostly constant. So you will be prepared to do more of the work. And I like the fact that she said there are more important things, but there is not an order of hierarchy. So PDA may be more important to me than money, that if I don't get it, I say, okay, this marriage packs up. I choose in
What
order
is?
of the priority. So look at yourself and say, okay, is this very important to me? Can I work on it? Can I put this above this? Okay, how do I balance? Okay, you do this well, you do that well. Okay, you don't do the PDA, okay, I'm okay. Or you do PDA so much, you don't have time to go and make money, I'm okay. Or you do, it's about what works most for you and how you can arrange your priorities personally. Not because one seems higher. I've seen marriages that have crashed because of lack of intimacy. Intimacy, they say, no, we're not doing again. He doesn't do me like this. He doesn't touch me like this. I've seen those that have crashed because he's not working hard. He's not providing money. He's not taking me abroad. Different levels. You just decide as a person what makes you happy and what works for you.
So,
The beautiful thing about marriage is that you have your partner already.
Yes.
So you can make your mistakes and remake them.
Yes, you have a lifetime of fixing and rebuilding.
You see, in marriage, it's like every stage is like an onion. You're just peeling off and renewing. And that's the beauty. There's no textbook anywhere.
At all.
That you're bringing.
Let me go on a break.
Do your mistakes.
When I come back, I got an interesting message from somebody, which I think I'd like to read. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So let's take a few comments on social media. I have one from Mr. Ogundemu. He says, hello, Morayo. It's just that K1 is not so emotionally attached or attracted to this lady any longer. This is the same Wasiu that used to hug, kiss, and do all sorts with his former wife during live shows. This was the wife before marrying this lady. So there's no emotional attachment any longer. Could you read that from that video? I don't know.
No.
I didn't think I read that.
Oh, they judged this video.
That there's no more emotional attachment. That this,
I can't
that
tell.
K1 used to hug and kiss his former.
I can't tell you that
It's
video.
possible what he's thinking. Some people will be saying he's a polygamist. They will believe those polygamists just move on quickly. Rolla K says, before marriage, most men pretend to be romantic, but after marriage, they switch to see-finish mode. This affects women and making them wonder, is this the man I married? This eventually builds up disconnection between both, and that is why women hide under Omugo and get out. Tolu says, this table you people are broken. The pepper also, he puts a laughing emoji, so maybe he's joking.
A lady here, let me not mention her name. She said, good morning, Mo. At Igbakamu on PDA. Now we have to watch romantic movies and, these men can't change. I'm still waiting for flowers after 11 years of marriage.
Baby, I don't want flowers. William Davis says, it's normal, but the man using handkerchief to clean his lip after the kiss is somehow embarrassing. This is Africa. One should always remember that African read meanings to everything.
Well, do you know about the handkerchief? There are some things that is just force of habit. You find something sticky on your lip and just without paying attention, or subconsciously
Maybe
wipe it. No, just even subconsciously just wipe your lip because you feel something on your lip. That can happen.
So Lu says again, Kwan is a polygamist, and with polygamy comes see-finish. PDA is not a trade of polygamists. The Igbo people that we learnt these PDA vibes from, how many of them show PDA while they are married to more than one wife at the same time?
Did you learn it from Igbo people?
That's an interesting...
Did you see your grandfather PDA?
Wait, let us talk
No, if you did not learn from Igbo people, from TV we learned.
Good morning, hello, are you there?
Mundo and Zeaworld.
Tokumbo, are you there?
I don't watch those.
Yes, I am.
You're live, go ahead, please.
Okay. I feel from the part she organized, I feel they were quarreling beforehand.
Oh,
jeez. Everything was surprised at the body. It made a kind of facial update, which looks like, okay, you are trying to settle this. So that kiss he didn't accept is because it's probably still a little upset something they must have argued.
How long is this video again?
God of mercy.
Thank you, Mr. Tokumbo. It's your view. Let it count. It's your view. I mean, it's just, I'm just
different interpretation.
A bit.
I have a message from White Lion. It says, a man builds a house, a woman makes it a home.
Okay.
You refuse to protect what belongs to you, whether in private or in public, you stand the risk of losing the man to another woman. There are more women than men on earth, and every woman needs a man in her life.
Okay.
You must persistently shower romance on your man 24/7. Otherwise, there are more women out there who are willing to take over your throne. We are no more in that ancient days where women are shy. These days, some women can seduce your husband right under your nose. If the man refuse romance in public, I can bet there's another woman. There's either another woman out there or is losing interest gradually.
Okay.
So,
This is a man's point of view.
Wait. What's valid about this? Because I need to understand.
It's a man's point of
We
view.
need, well, I get that, but we also need to use this platform to help re-educate some men.
Yeah.
When you say another woman will seduce your man, the man wanted to be seduced.
Of course.
So there's no woman, get the point, no woman can seduce my husband
Without
if he
your
doesn't.
husband's permission.
Yeah, with your husband's permission to be seduced.
Yeah. That's
So it's not about you losing your husband.
No, let's be careful. Seduction is not about the man allowing himself. It's about someone sending you energy, sending you the vibe. No. Fantastic. So you can reject it.
Yes.
But that act of doing it's something you do towards someone.
So it's not the it's not the woman. It's not dependent on the woman who's seducing.
No.
See,
It's not dependent on
when
the man
they say
alone.
there are women that will seduce your men, it's true. There are men that will seduce your women, it's true. So it's like when we say, lead me not into temptation. So temptations will happen around you. That is life. You walk through the valley of the shadow of death. That is life. But while you are walking through, how do you protect yourself?
How strong are you?
So that we don't always blame the men for the way someone looked at them. No, not falling, for the way someone looked at them, and then she was looking at him a certain way, and then she crossed it. He cannot control that. What he can control is how he responds to that.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the same thing.
You just see, sometimes you guide what you value. We went for one party in London, me and my husband. And because me, I don't like public, I sat down shopping chic.
They will reach out.
And then I heard the band calling my husband's name, calling the band where he works, hailing him. And some 3 air pass. These people carry behind, be front, be everything. They come like, she go all this way long. They do everything like this. I look at myself, I said, Nima, how many times did I call you? Don't be sleeping.
So you got up?
I got up. I then said that's in public. I used my somebody.
I'm the wife.
I scared them away. I went to praise the band. The band I said, name is Nima. That's the wife. I said, Ayazimiri. I remember that party. They said, Nima, Ayazimiri. I spread the girls away because I don't want problem. This thing Miriam said. See, because when we say it to us like this, we just drop on the defense. Like, no, it's you who allow it. Sometimes you could be allowing some things to threaten your space.
But you flip side.
Yes, now. Yes.
No, we don't talk.
He don't say when they write beware of dogs for compound. Thieves still they enter. No matter how beware of dog you write, first when one enter, go enter.
Exactly.
So there's a responsibility for the person in question who is being seduced.
Yes.
We not talk
to
so wrong.
accept or not. There's that responsibility.
The
There's a
operative word here is seduced.
Yes, of course. Seduction happens. People will come. There's one that he went to a party recently. He said it was a pool party stuff, so he went in to swim. Before he realized what was happening, he was surrounded.
Like an eligible bachelor.
He talked, so he said some things were popping
everywhere.
He said he was shaking. He said, women are desperate. Women are desperate. I said, what did you do?
Because they never talk now. We don't ask.
I jumped out of the pool. I carried my bag and I told the guy that I'm coming. That's why I reached out to him. Immediately he got into the house. Said, baby, come and calm me down. Come and hear the kind of things I saw today. Come and touch me to calm me down.
Yes.
I was laughing, you know. So that responsibility is also on the person who's being seduced to either accept it or not. Some people fall because sometimes they are weak. And that weak link could be that they have stopped. So one of the red flags of somebody who is beginning to accept is when we go out, we touch. We now go out and I'm doing like this and I'm doing like that. It's also when a psychologist will tell you, it's also a red flag that something is beginning to happen. Another person is speaking his interest and his, trying.
Nima, I'll say something.
What Nima did now, you can also help your partner to foresee.
Now, that's
and
where
prevent.
I'm different. Well, that's where I'm different. If I was in Nima's shoes, I wouldn't stand up.
Yeah.
I'll just, that's who I am.
Wow.
I'll just sit down. I put the responsibility on him.
To do the
I
right
expect him to know the right thing. I'm not going to stand up and try to stand. Let me come and I'll sit exactly where I am. So you now, if I see and observe and how you are dancing with them and everything, no problem. We come to your house to have a conversation. But I'll expect you to be man enough to know and excuse yourself.
Okay, just for the records, he wasn't even noticing.
Of course, he wouldn't notice.
They don't see it.
But you as a woman, know women. And I'm saying this here because I have been, just a moment, I've been in that position where I had to advise a guardian. And, you know, there was a woman who would always come to our house every evening, trying to be all nice in her business, trying to, daddy, is there maybe mommy? And she'll just sit down and say, he will deal with it. And I had the conversation with the other woman. Okay, take your
Let me pause the call. Tunde from Redemption Camp. I don't know if we've done something wrong. Tunde from RCCG. Good morning. Are you there? We need to be in trouble with Daddy Gio. Good morning, Tunde. Are you there?
Oh, please be there.
Oh, no. Tunde, hello.
Tunde.
Oh,
It's coming to lay hands on us.
go ahead.
I had the conversation with the woman who was always coming, and she was like, I want to be helping mommy. You know, she's getting old. I was like, what kind of help? We say, you know, she's getting old. So, you know, I just want to
the way Bathsheba helped David.
And she explained, and I came back and said, Madam, if they collect your marriage, all this your self-independent woman things. You see, we're Africans, and this person that is sending this, because whenever they tell women they can seduce other women, they say the man has a job to do it. Sometimes it needs your help.
He needs your help.
I witnessed one instance where that man was saying to the woman, we need to go out, and I'll be meeting this woman. She's always all nice, and I don't like it. Can you just do something about it? Can you come with me all the time? So like, I cannot be fighting off women, anything like you do. They were at 30 years of their marriage at the time. And she thought, you know, maybe he has done this over years. There are some times when he needs your help, give it. What are you saying? I mean, you see, you don't value the relationship.
I don't understand.
I don't get it.
To fight for something.
You see me, now is in the before, in the now. If you come, you meet me. My presence, I will feel you. You will feel the room. You better know what you are facing.
Mark my
if you want to come and shoot your face.
Interesting. I mean, it's good to learn from different perspectives because I
So let me add a little. There are some men that are very nice. They wouldn't want to say no.
Right.
Because of the self-esteem of the lady. And it starts from, okay, I don't want to tell, I understand, but I don't want to tell her no. She's just not, thank you.
We're using all emotion.
Yeah.
And before they realize, that was not the intention. They love their wives. But because they find it difficult, especially men who don't like confrontation, they find it difficult. They find it difficult to say no. The empathy is too much. And these women are hawks. They know those men and they keep coming and coming and coming till they finally, before you know it, it takes a little thing to start. Yes, even for men, women too. It takes a little thing to start. Emotional connection will first build before the physical one. So in that case, if you happen to have such a man, please help him. Don't sit pretty and say, I expect you to. He doesn't want to fall.
So that thing I'll come to you in a second. Let me just take this call from Tunde. Tunde is back from RCCG. Good morning, are you there? Hello, Tunde.
Holy Spirit is not allowing him.
Tunde,
Holy Spirit is stopping this thing. Hello, the demon doesn't want to.
Oh, please.
Okay, I think we lost that. Go ahead,
Yeah, so I was just going to say that there's a danger that a lot of nice people fall into the trap. Which is you're so nice, you forget to set boundaries for yourself. And for me, I feel like that's a whole different conversation. And, you know, in raising my children, I see one that's really, really nice, and I'm teaching that one to put boundaries, because for me, I felt I learned it later in life and it would have paid me, you know, it would have done me a lot of good if I had started early. You're very concerned about the other person's state of mind, about how to receive things. You want to let people down gently, and you know, you would even take to some form of abuse, you know, and disservice to yourself. So when you teach, when you have such a partner, I feel that that conversation about setting boundaries, I know that she just lost her dad. It's okay. We can send her a message together. Oh, she wants to see, she can come and visit us, you know, something like that. So he knows that you're not stopping him from being nice, but you're just saying that let's just be careful so that it doesn't. And then if a mistake has happened before, you can say, but you remember how this degenerated to that?
No, that's not even be dangerous. You say you did not let the past go. You tell him you remember how. So you see, if you're not a mom of my husband, you're not a woman he has to protect by Islamic standard. You can't just walk into my house and spend the night.
For what?
Ground rules. You
How
can't
you
just
come
come
into
into my
spending
space. I would create the barriers.
Yeah.
You must be someone, either I am open to trusting of, or you're someone from inside a friend or anybody that I know and I trust. You can't just come and some people say, yeah, this person is don't be in my space. Don't be in my house. Because that's so they from there come. Some men are deeply nice. I know someone who used to answer every greeting with my dear. How are you, my dear? How are you, my dear? Before we know, one young girl now came, say, "Has been calling me my dear since now."
And
he's in love
everybody will
with me.
believe.
This thing I'm telling you, this one are real life. Say, I've been calling me my dear sis, and he's in love with me. And the other person was like, but he says my dear to me too. By the time we finished, and I like, I've been in love with him.
Right.
Yes.
So she had a strategy to come in, and you're there lose guarding.
Yes.
In the name of
Well, you see, okay, wait, let me be sure, because I said, I get that, and I think that that's also interesting to hear, because there are different ways of looking at things. For someone like me, I always expect that you should know better. You should absolutely completely know better. So I had a friend too. I mean, many of you already know. Many of you.
He's a full-blown
man. Somebody else who raised you. You are making the mistake.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Okay, listen, we're all learning from each other here. You know, so I have to. You all knew about. I had a friend once that it was clear. You know, she had the heart of my heart, like pray, like it was there. I saw it, but I pretended I didn't see it because I expected him to know what to do. And luckily for me, he did
now
know what to
God
do.
just saved you.
No, because the kind of person I married is not. He knows it. He can smell it from afar, and he'll tell you he cut off the relationship himself. Now him. What?
No.
Say that. Don't say that. The girl was very clear. I mean, it was in our faces. It was in our faces, and he was the one that said, this person, he himself cut off the relationship.
Yeah, okay.
Very
so
well.
You know who you married.
So I know the kind of person I am. He doesn't take nonsense.
Also, we should know that there are some people that will take that step and cut something. So it's not that because the person is not as powerful, that's why she didn't get someone's husband. Sometimes the men also are they are very confident and very sure of what they want and what they don't want.
Exactly. So it's not the onus is not always on the woman to be fighting or putting there. You don't have to always do that. There's a man that actually takes the ball by the horn.
I wanted to point out that sometimes the man doesn't see it as well.
Yeah.
The man is just being a nice person because this is who I am, and the women are falling head over heels in love. Yeah. So there was this particular guy that was good, church boy. He will come, they'll do counseling, But I just realized anytime I pass, this lady, the counseling they are doing is me, I don't understand, because the smile, she's all smiles,
glowing.
She's glowing, she's excited. I had to call this brother, come, please. Which counseling are you people doing? A few years down the line, this particular girl sabotaged her marriage, his marriage, because she had fallen deeply in love with him. In his mind, I'm just counseling, she was going through a lot. I'm just really, the woman don't fall in love and trapped him with pregnancy from one mistake. Because he's a nice person. So such people, when you get belly for them, you go come house. They go enter your house because you're nice. So there are men who can stand and say, even if it happens by mistake and you get belly, bring the belly, my mama go carry him, and I move on with my life. So understand your partner, and if you can help. If he's okay, it's good on his own, then leave him be.
So I also would like to do it like the other side. We know that women too get approached by men, and I feel that men even play the long game. They would watch you, see what your weaknesses are, and I feel that men, our husbands, are not shy about telling you what is happening here. It's women that are saying, well, I'm going to leave it to him to sort it out. You might say, what am I seeing? I don't get it. Well, I don't like it. I'm telling you, I just don't like it. Whatever you want to do, just better sort it out. So it's important that we can help each other that way.
Let's take a few comments on social media.
Back to the women point Morayo made. The onus doesn't necessarily have to be on the woman. But if you value your thing, it's okay. Protect it. And help your partner. I agree. Yeah. That's the way. Because, we are quick to, when men say they will seduce your husband, women are quick to say, is he a baby? Can you not do that?
Sometimes it's good to ask that question.
You are married to a human.
Honestly.
A human. It's not an adult. It's not your baby you raised. He doesn't live by your own standards. He has his own exposures, his own past, his own standards. My father was a very, very strong polygamous background, but he struggled to be a monogamist as in a struggle. They were. He was deliberately choosing that part, and so he needed help. He worked hard at it. So I've seen people, don't excuse these things. Just do your own role. Don't be the one that they will tell somebody will take your husband and say, let them take him if they like. That means you don't value him, put on your guard. Don't lose guard.
Okay, I think we can wrap up. Let's take a few comments and we run off.
Lesson says, even if love is in the heart, we must talk it when we get to be alone. How can you tell me you are a chief and marriage should come before titles, even if he had to clean his mouth afterwards? It's embarrassing. Dolapo says, on the matter of Nigerian men dialing down to 0 on PDA after marriage, I raise objection now. There are cases I can reference and back up 100% that it's Madam that is pushing the brakes on the PDA from Oga. Who must now backamu those ones uncle.
Gladys says, you ladies are indeed very funny. Express your mind, beloved presenters. Dam Ebika says, it's the responsibility of any person, both male and female, to flee from temptation unless the person likes it. The question is maybe next week, what if the men like it?
Hey.
Because we always feel it's somebody that is coming to
open
my
that
husband.
table.
It's somebody that is what if
The man is enjoying it. That's the topic for another day. We have to wrap up.
From seduction
That is all we can take
to cheating
on
with us
this
now. We always
show
talk about
today. Thank God they postponed the election, so have
Yeah.
a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.